Thank you for joining us on the Varsity Media Sports Network. It's another presentation of Long Island High School Lacrosse. I'm Gavin Shaw, and we have a crucial matchup for these two teams. It's Roslyn taking on North Shore. North Shore looking to secure a playoff spot to move to 6-4 on the season. Roslyn, they've had a tough year, just 1-7, but a very important game for them in that it's senior day. And you got to imagine they're going to want to show out in front of this home crowd. And again, I'm Gavin Shaw. You can follow along at Gavin Shaw at the Varsity Media Sports Network. And we're about to get underway early on. These are two teams that have struggled in face-off situations all year. A variety of injuries and inexperience at the spot. And it's something we'll be discussing throughout the matchup. But two teams that felt like coming into the season, they didn't really have much of a chance to get ready. A combination of having a lot of guys on the football team that ran through the regular season. North Shore made the county finals in football. It was a real struggle to get everyone healthy and in shape. And then for a Roslyn team, there's just a lot of inexperience up and down the roster. And guys that, frankly, didn't really get to play very much a season ago. But it's North Shore in possession. A rare early face-off win for North Shore, the Vikings. They've struggled in that capacity throughout the season. They're led by Forrest Dimitri, number 22 in red, the Brown commit. You're watching Will Feldman right now. He's probably their second option on attack. Dan Quigley, number 4, the quarterback on that county championship team, had a quick shot, triggered in, and knocked away. Roslyn's young defensively, but quite a bit of experience there as they return 2 starters on that back end, led by Jonah Baum, who will play at Drexel next year. So you're seeing what North Shore likes to do offensively. They prioritize patience and really taking their time, knowing they're not going to win a lot of faceoffs. They want to take that load off their defense and possess the ball. A lot of bouncer, and it's saved by Glennon on net. Excellent stuff from Ryan Glennon, but he won't save another one. A bullet of a shot in from Dimitri. And North Shore's best player gets them on the board early. Forrest Dimitri, the Brown commit, a rocket. And an early 1-0 lead for the Vikings. And let's take a look at the starting lineups while we have a second here. We already told you about Forrest Dimitri, Will Feldman, Lee Hain, also key on attack. Then D'Amico, Quigley, Larkin in the midfield. Lacey, Aletto, key pieces on defense. Gonzalez, probably the number 1 guy there. And then both these teams have a first-year starter in goal. And North Shore, with that 1-0 lead, they're going to get a little bit more aggressive off that faceoff, knowing they've given their defense that cushion. Probably content to take a little bit less time offensively, really move the ball around. We're seeing some early sloppiness here from Roslyn on their senior day, as that one was mishandled by the long stick, Zachary Harris. It's a Roslyn team that, again, really didn't feel quite ready for the start of the season. Their school was very conservative in terms of how they handled COVID protocol. So they only really got to start practicing a week or 2 before the year. And obviously each team has a couple of guys who play club, but unless you're the Manhassets or the Garden Cities of the world, it was a real challenge to get ready. North Shore really pinging the ball around, trying to work it in front of net. Seeing Roslyn, they're playing a zone defense, trying to key in on the tendencies of Forrest Dimitri and Will Feldman. It was a real emphasis in their study leading up to this game. And now they're trying to work their way up on the clear. Great speed here for Roslyn.
Yeah, all right. Is that good?
As Alex Gatto works in the middle of the field. He's the name to know. The younger brother of Ethan Gatto, arguably the best player in school history. They played together for a season in 2019 when Ethan was a junior and Alex was an 8th grader. As you're going to see the depth early here for Roslyn. Quite a few different options on attack. They feel like they're peaking right now. There's Maxwell Smith, number 5, was just on the ball. He's been an integral option for them. A turn of fire, and this one is all tied up. A brilliant start for Alex Gatto. So the best players on both sides make their mark early, with Dimitri getting the early goal for North Shore, and then Gatto tying it up as we take a look at the replay. A great spin into the shot. Gatto, a guy who completely changed himself physically from the last time he was playing. Again, he was just a freshman, or rather just an 8th grader, now a sophomore. And he put a lot of time in the weight room, motivated by his older brother, Ethan. Turned himself into a completely different guy. See North Shore have a chance to work their offense. It was an interesting conversation with both coaches as they really emphasized the need this year to switch off between zone and man looks, both offensively, or rather defensively, and then reactively on offense. Just because you're seeing all those different looks. The zones were put in by these teams just because they didn't have a lot of time to get their man-to-man attack together. Oh, and that one fired in for a goal. A bullet of a shot by Will Feldman. Thank you for joining us back on the Varsity Media Sports Network. We apologize for any technical difficulties. Experienced a brief internet outage, but it's 3-1 North Shore over Roslyn. Again, I'm Gavin Shaw here with you. The scoring got started by the Stars on both sides of things. It was Forrest Dimitri for North Shore. For the Roslyn side, it was Alex Gatto. Will Feldman also got in on the fun for North Shore. Again, this crucial game for the Vikings as they try and secure playoff positioning. Every team in that middle rung in Class C really just looking to avoid playing those top couple of teams in the opening round. The Cold Spring Harbors of the world. And North Shore, a little bit of a similar story to a team we had last week on the Varsity Media Sports Network, Cary, in that their record probably belies how good they are. Just now fully getting healthy and figuring out things from a camaraderie standpoint, as that one was defended well by Ryan Glennon. Glennon, a senior, was supposed to start last year, and as much as it was true throughout the team, Jesse Sorensen noting he was particularly heartbroken for Glennon, a guy who played club lacrosse all his life, was waited forever for that varsity spot. Probably could have even started as a sophomore, or at least gotten some significant playing time as a sophomore. He was that good. And then you have to come in your first year and the second game of his career, going up against Manhasset, giving up 18 goals, but Sorensen said he's rebounded well from that and has played about as good as you could hope for a first-year starter thrust into this situation. He's going to go on next year to play club at the University of Texas. Tried to make a foot save there, but the shot from Feldman was wide right regardless. It's run down by Dimitri, though, so it'll stay North Shore possession with just over 3 minutes left in this first quarter. The Vikings trying to add on to a 2-goal lead. Feldman, again, just packs a lot of power, a lot of physicality, both in his dodges and his shot. Dimitri's an interesting case where he was one of their best scorers the last couple of years, but his best skill is probably his ability as an initiator. That's another great save from Glennon. Feldman put it right on him, but Glennon, that big stick, able to protect the cage. So here we go, some transition offense, and it's really well defended that time by Quigley. Quigley, a force in the midfield again. one of the better athletes you'll see in this game. Quarterback on the football team, a dunk on net, and it's put in. Joe Lehane with the goal. Lehane, they had to move him up to attack due to a couple of injuries up front. Really a blue-collared player, but so good right around net. And you see that execution right there as Glennon didn't have much of a chance. Let's take a chance to look at the starters for Roslyn. So we told you about Alex Siegel, Alex Gatto. Chapman, of course, a key piece. Rice, knee, Fastman in the midfield. Then Harris, Baum, knee on defense. And the dome in the face-off, Glennon in goal. So Roslyn desperately needing a win in the face-off, but here we go. The ride from North Shore. North Shore extremely aggressive. It was something Jesse Sorensen noted was a concern for them, how they could handle the ball. But an excellent look up the field, and now on the run with it is Gatto. Gatto's done spectacularly well as a sophomore, accumulating 26 points this year, despite, as an underclassman, being the focus of some of the best defenses in the country. Game after game after game. He's facing Division I commits and holding his own as an underclassman, a guy with an extremely bright future. Head coach Jesse Sorensen went as far to say that he has a chance to be one of the best players in school history, and there's a big-time goal by his running mate, Alex Siegel. Siegel widely considered one of the best sophomores on the island. You see why there. Super high IQ kid. Someone that Jesse Sorensen said, even watching him play early in his middle school career, is desperate to get him up on this roster, this varsity roster, because he can do so many things well, and at such a young age, understands the game on an extremely high level. So an infraction will give possession to Roslyn as they want to cut into this 2-goal lead. Relatively high-scoring affair in the early going here at Roslyn, Long Island. Again, senior day for Roslyn. Roslyn typically a team that's very modern offensively, positionless, a lot of movement both on and off the ball. This season, because of injuries and, as we noted earlier, having to constantly vacillate between going against zone offenses and man-to-man offenses, they've had to taper things down a little bit in terms of their creativity. Strong effort there to even get on net by Fastman, but not able to put it in. And yet, 9th game of the year, Jesse Sorensen says, at this point, we're probably about as good as we're going to be. This is a chance for them to notch a signature win. They'll certainly have one more in their last game of the season against Cold Spring Harbor, but on senior day at home, against the North Shore team, they're good enough, or at least they feel they're good enough to compete with. Certainly a great opportunity to do just that. You see North Shore applies a lot of pressure, but that's a gorgeous pass that cuts right through it. A dime from Sam Nee to set up the easy shot on net from Max Smith. Smith on that cut-in. And there's a big concern for Aaron Kozlowski on the North Shore side, saying they're really good off the ball at cutting to cage. And it was a big emphasis for North Shore in practice yesterday to cut that off. And instead they're going to have to win with their offense here. A nice face-off win and run by Gonzalez. But that'll wrap up the first quarter. A 1-goal lead for the Vikings of North Shore over the home team, Roslyn. We'll take a break with the end of the quarter. You're watching Long Island High School Lacrosse on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports. Are you settling for a boring live stream? Can't see the players' uniforms? No audio? Camera not following the action? Consider a live stream broadcast with Varsity Media. Our announcers help tell the story of your game.
Goes McCarthy. He's got up. He's in. Touchdown, Farmingdale.
We feature multiple camera angles, guaranteed to capture all the action.
Touchdown, Oceanside.
Plus added features like graphics, instant replay.
Yeah, the shooters are going to shoot here at Bethpage, and one of many threes on the day.
Interviews, and more. It's your time to shine. And with Varsity Media, now you can. Contact us today and book a live stream broadcast with Varsity Media. Online at varsitymedia.net or by phone 516-403-2050.
Thank you for joining us back on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Gavin Shull here with you, and a 4-3 lead for the North Shore Vikings over the Roslyn Bulldogs. It was 4-1 in the early going, and for a Roslyn team that lost their last two games against Floral Park and Locust Valley by a combined 19 goals, you certainly sense a little bit of pressure to stay in it early and give themselves a chance down the stretch. And in the first quarter, they did just that. Great execution. Goals from Alex Gatto to start things off, and then Maxwell Smith to get them back within one. And it'll be an interesting contrast all game because Roslyn really trying to work those near cage cuts and having to throw really high degree of difficulty passes against a North Shore defense that certainly applies a lot of pressure as one of the better defensive players in the area, and Don Gonzali, who is constantly harassing whoever has the ball. And it's going to be this exchange of who wins those little battles, adding up to who ends up winning the game. So we open the second quarter, 12 minutes on the clock. North Shore in their maroons, Roslyn in white and blues. Just about perfect weather here. Senior day for the Bulldogs. This is a team 2 years ago that was really, really good. Only lost about 2 during the regular season. Won a playoff game against MacArthur. Then gave Manhasset a pretty good matchup. And given where Roslyn is historically, it was pretty significant stepping point for Jesse Sorensen and this program. So you get a look at that replay. Big face-off win for D'Amico. D'Amico's an interesting story, number 3 for North Shore. Not a face-off guy for his entire life, and it's pretty common on the island that these guys start specializing at a really young age, but D'Amico sort of filling in there, and really tough player, has done an admirable job. Demetri really unselfish. At the top of that offense, though, that pass too high. And we'll return possession to Roslyn. North Shore will apply pressure, looking to ride it out. And that's what you don't want if you're Roslyn, to be facing that pressure, and instead of having the patience and the skill to beat it, to just lob it down the field on a clear, puts a lot of pressure on this defense and takes away the victory they just had. A little tic-tac-toe passing there on the inside, but the ball didn't quite sneak through to its intended target. They were looking for Jack Kaufman. And now it'll be Roslyn with another chance. So you see, trying to get that third pass was Demetri, who's Instincts always lead towards unselfishness. Looping around a little bounce pass in from Gatto. Just see how much attention he gets, though. Every defender always staring his way. And you see it's going to lead to some loose ball situations. As skilled as he is, still a sophomore, prone to some mistakes as North Shore. An unsettled opportunity coming up right now. Oh, wow. Good bit of defending there from Roslyn. Zach Harris getting a stick on it. Oh, and a big hit laid down by Quigley. Again, a football star. He's capable of doing just that on the check. Quigley trying to dodge middle. Set up top for Larkin. Larkin moves it along to D'Amico. D'Amico extra pass. Bouncer in for Dimitri. That one a worm burner. But Ryan Glennon continues to stand tall in goal. Jesse Sorensen said you absolutely cannot look at the goal scored against this Roslyn team and use that as a litmus test to judge Glennon. Pointing out that this defense has had a lot of trouble getting acclimated given the limited offseason and just now starting to hit their peak. North Shore, a lot of patience. Feldman took a little bit too much time there and lost it. So charging back hard the other way is Roslyn. Roslyn, an unsettled opportunity. Given how deadly this North Shore zone has been of late, you got to figure they're going to try to do as much as they can in early offense. Here's Siegel. Again, two sophomores lead the attack for Roslyn, so the future of this Bulldogs program is bright. But they still have work to do to get there. Number 29, Harrison Clymer, up on offense. Guy who hadn't played lacrosse since he was in middle school, but Roslyn desperately needed the depth. He agreed to come back, and he's been a key piece on this team. Going to work is Gatto. Gatto trying to find one of those cutters in front of net, and that's the second time we've seen him just throw it away, and an offsides that time. Fighting over to get it was Jonah Baum, but getting a little bit too aggressive and crossing that midline. Certainly something to watch. Gatto's been a little bit turnover prone so far in this one. Still 4-3. Scoreless second quarter after we got a combined 7 goals in the first. At least so far. We haven't seen a lot of one-on-one play from North Shore. They've been really patient about working it around, and that's exactly what they want to do. Unsettle the defense, or at least put them in movement, and then attack a moving target and dodge their way into good shots. There's a good look on net, and Glennon using the body. Get a save. We would have liked to have seen a better shot there from Quigley, and the defending pays off for Roslyn. It was almost like Quigley was surprised at how open he was in front of net. Just tried to one-time it, and Glennon, fortuitous to have his body right on the ball. A good pass by Glennon on the clear attempt, but it's poorly handled that time by Baum. Baum again, the Drexel commit, the number 1 defensive player for this Roslyn team. A little sloppy on the ball the last 2 possessions, though. And there's the speed from one of the best, Will Feldman. North Shore coming off a 10-5 loss against Cold Spring Harbor, a game they felt they had every chance to be competitive in down the stretch, but just too penalty prone. It's been an ongoing issue for them. Similarly against Seaford, another one of those great teams in Class C, they fell 8-6 and had every chance to win it with a little bit more discipline. But if you're a fan of this North Shore program, it has to give you some confidence that come playoff time, they're going to be able to figure things out. Cross field pass intercepted that time. Good bit of defending on the Roslyn side from Baum. So Baum will look ahead, ambitious pass completed up the field. Good look ahead to Max Smith. But now coming back the other way is Vlahopoulos. Vlahopoulos. And a timeout taken. Will take one with them. Still scoreless in the second, so it remains North Shore 4, Roslyn 3. You're watching on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports. Are you settling for a boring live stream? Can't see the players' uniforms? No audio? Camera not following the action? Consider a live stream broadcast with Varsity Media. Our announcers help tell the story of your game.
McCarthy. He's got. He's in. Touchdown, Farmingdale.
We feature multiple camera angles, guaranteed to capture all the action.
Touchdown, Oceanside.
Plus added features like graphics, instant replay.
Yeah, the shooters are going to shoot here at Bethpage, and one of many threes on the day.
Interviews and more. It's your time to shine. And with Varsity Media, now you can. Contact us today and book a live stream broadcast with Varsity Media. Online at varsitymedia.net or by phone 516-403-2050.
We're back on the Varsity Media Sports Network. A 4-3 lead for North Shore over Roslyn. Just under 5 minutes to go until halftime here on the Bulldogs' senior day. But it's been all about the sophomores so far for Roslyn. Alex Siegel, Alex Gatto taking up the majority of the goal scoring. North Shore in possession, looking to add on to a 4-3 lead. On the restart, it's D'Amico. Neither team's had much success in unsettled situations. It's been slow and steady offense against the zone. It's gotten the job done for both sides. Though the defenses have certainly won out in the second quarter, we've seen a limited number of quality shots for either team. North Shore, though, you admire just how patient they are in their attack, and it pays off that time. A rocket from Kevin Larkin into the back of the net, and Ryan Conley never had a chance to get his stick around. Just like that, a 5-3 lead for the Vikings. Larkin had an opportunity to really load up one of the fastest shots on this team, and you see it in action there. So Roslyn ball. They go to work. See the speed of Michael Rice. Rice, a guy who's really come on recently. Jesse Sorensen was noting that for this Roslyn team, the football regular season continued past the start of lacrosse season. Rice was injured late in the year for the football team. It's only just now getting into rhythm, but has been excellent these last couple of games. Here's Siegel. And so smart on the ball, but see, relatively small. Oh, and that was a prime opportunity for Jared Chapman, who hit it off that right pole. And a break the other way for North Shore. This could be painful for Roslyn to give up a goal here, but a little bit out of control that time was Gonzalez. Don Gonzalez, a senior defender, drawing the ire of his head coach and some of the assistants, Aaron Kozlowski and company. A prime opportunity there. They give him a lot of latitude to go and attack as a defender. Gonzalez, Stony Brook commit, not paying off that faith that time. He pushed up a little too fast. The Vikings, though, still on the ball. Kevin Larkin certainly feeling confident after that last goal, thinking about firing again. Said they'll just keep the machine whirring. You can see all the motion baked into their offense. It's not just the passing. It's a lot of the off-ball stuff. A lot of move and replace. Same positions are always held, but by different players. Here's Dimitri. A lot of finesse on that pass. Feldman zips it in. A bouncer, Conley. Right in front of the net. Didn't give Lehane a clear angle. Larkin with some urgency. I love the engagement, both these benches, everyone standing up. Alerting their teammates to any perceived threats or openings. It's typical of Long Island lacrosse, one of the hotbeds in the entire country of the sport. Dimitri falling there on the dodge. Good bit of defending from Roslyn. And Dimitri heading to Brown next year, someone who obviously puts a lot of time into his academics, but equally committed to sport of lacrosse before practice, after practice, always working to get better. North Shore team in 2019 that got all the way to the county semifinals before falling to Cold Spring Harbor. Rarely in the top group in Class C, but consistently competitive. That was nearly a prime opportunity, and now you have it. An extra pass. And Will Feldman paid off the patience, getting set up by Jack Kaufman, the sophomore attackman. And you see this from Kaufman, goes to X, looping around the cage, and Feldman using that newfound physicality, putting it in. Second goal of the game for the junior, and 28th on the season. So Feldman up to 41 points, 28 goals on the year. And Jack Kaufman quickly becoming a pivotal piece for North Shore. He was injured at the start of the year, has only played in the last 4 games, but has scored in every single one of them. Oh, wow, what a run by Gonzalez there to win possession. And Kaufman really rounding out this attack. They have Gavin Lacey, they have Dimitri, obviously, they have Feldman, they have Lehane, but needed that one extra guy. And Kaufman, someone who could potentially be a key piece down the road. So with 27 seconds left in the half, we'll keep it right here. A 6-3 lead for the Vikings of North Shore over this Roslyn side who is looking to put up a fight on their senior day. Again, for Roslyn, it's been a tough transition season as they went down, played in a smaller conference in 2019, and they did exceptionally well there. Mostly dominating their competition, only losing, I believe, 2 games the entire season. And then last year they were set up to have a really good team, one of their, again, better ones in recent memory, and obviously COVID knocked that right out. Would have had Ethan Gatto, who probably the best player in school history. Obviously Alex, the younger brother, still on the team, still a key piece. Alex Siegel, Ryan Glennon would have gotten to start a year earlier in goal. And then even this year, they've had key pieces fall time and time again. A starter broke his wrist against Manhasset. Another one, Zach Lenson, he had to get nasal surgery and was lost for the season. And then just the logistical difficulties have been a real factor for Jesse Sorensen, saying at times he's missed out on having full practices because the girls' team needs the field or there's a track and field event in the vicinity, and it's something all these schools have had to deal with, but the bigger ones with more resources, just a little bit less. And for Roslyn and Jesse Sorensen, it certainly impeded their progress this season when you combine that fact with the injuries. Oh, and a heck of an effort there to recover that loose ball by Joe Lehane. And we'll see what the whistle is there. Looks like it's going to be Roslyn possession, just 13 seconds on the clock. Going to try to get one more shot on net, get this lead down to 2 goals. Glennon is going to have to put a lot on this ball. He chucks it down the field. A Hail Mary attempt, bounces near net, in and out of Diaversa's stick, but it's not going to matter as time expires. So a 6-3 lead for North Shore at the break. Roslyn on senior day looking to mount a comeback after halftime on the Varsity Media Sports Network. We'll get a chance at the half to take a look at Roslyn senior day. Really special moment. A lot of the players that were part of that 2019 team getting honored.
Like they were all standing there. It's not like one of them was there and ran.
It's Harley and Robin and brother Alec. Eli will be attending Tulane in the fall. Next we have senior goalie Ryan Glennon, parents Deborah and Jeff, siblings Jack and Katie. Ryan will be attending Texas in the fall. Go Longhorns. Please welcome senior defender Ben Nee, parents Lisa and Jeff, and alumni Max, the original Snee. Ben will be attending Ohio State in the fall. Senior attackman and midfielder Sam Nee. With the same group of parents, Lisa and Jeff, and brother, alumni Max Snee. Sorry, Max. Senior defender Harlan Greenberg. With sibling Cora and sister Taylor. Oh, mother Cora and sister Taylor. I'm sorry. You're youthful. Harlan will be attending Colgate. And Sam will be attending Tulane. Missed that. Sorry. And they went out of alphabetical order too, my bad. Senior attackman Zach Lenson with parents Todd and Danielle. Zach will be attending Michigan in the fall. Senior midfielder Max Meyer with parents Randy and David. Max will be attending Cuse. Senior Fogo Eitan Nadam with brother Amit and sister Leanne. Eitan will be attending Binghamton in the fall. And brother Gil. Thanks. Good heads up. Senior defender Tyler Stein with parents Josh and Robin. Tyler will be attending Michigan in the fall. Senior defensive midfielder Luke Weiss with parents Lee and Andrea. Luke will be attending Wisconsin in the fall, Wisco. And senior midfielder Danny Warren, an attackman, with Ron and Irene. He will be attending Binghamton in the fall, potentially. I know, he told me multiple options he's got. I only have one, so. Once again, congratulations to all the Bulldog seniors. Today at Senior Day, the Roslyn Bulldogs lacrosse team are lacing up for pediatric cancer to support the Go for Goal Foundation to help kids battling cancer. Lace Up for Pediatric Cancer began in the fall of 2011. Since then, professional, college, and youth teams have participated in raising funds and awareness for the #1 disease killer of children. To date, over 500,000 athletes have supported our cause. Go for the Goal works to improve the lives of children battling cancer by providing financial assistance, granting special wishes, developing unique hospital programs, and funding innovative research. Learn more about Go for the Goal and how you can help make a difference by visiting goforthegoal.org. Go for the Goal, helping kids with cancer achieve their goals.
Varsity Media is the tri-state area's leader in sports media production. We specialize in live streaming.
Gargiulo over the middle. He's got a man. It's complete. And Ciolino. See you later. Touchdown, Massapequa.
Videography. and photography. Covering all sports at all levels. We feature aerial photography and videography, college recruiting videos, live streaming of games,
Top of the key, Smith. Why not? Wow. Bang! McKee, first down and more! Charlie McKee! Touchdown, Oceanside!
school events, graduations. Varsity Media is available to cover a game, a tournament, a season, or any special event.
Talk to us a little bit about what went through your mind, how you prepared for that to run such a fast speed.
Currently, spectators are limited at events. Let Varsity Media bring the event to your fans. Contact Varsity Media today for more information. Online at varsitymedia.net or by phone 516-403-2050. You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports. Are you settling for a boring live stream? Can't see the players' uniforms? No audio? Camera not following the action? Consider a live stream broadcast with Varsity Media. Our announcers help tell the story of your game.
Goes McCarthy. He's got. Oh, he's in. Touchdown, Farmingdale.
We feature multiple camera angles, guaranteed to capture all the action.
Touchdown, Oceanside!
Plus added features like graphics, instant replay.
Yeah, the shooters are going to shoot here at Bethpage, and one of many threes on the day.
Interviews, and more. It's your time to shine. And with Varsity Media, now you can. Contact us today and book a live stream broadcast with Varsity Media. Online at varsitymedia.net or by phone 516-403-2050.
Thank you for joining us back on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Second half about to get underway from Roslyn High School as the Bulldogs look to notch a senior day win over the North Shore Vikings. They'll have to make up a 3-goal deficit to do so. I'm Gavin Shaw with you here for the second half. 12 minutes on the clock. And it's been a competitive outing for Roslyn, who has had a really tough season. After getting essentially no prep time to start the year, they opened up with an 18-2 loss to Manhasset, then fell to Seaford. Thrilling overtime win over Hewlett, but since then it's been 5 straight losses to Lynbrook, MacArthur, Wheatley/Carl Place, Floral Park, and Locust Valley. The last 2 games coming by combined 19 goals, but you can tell there's still a lot of investment within this team and within this program. And Jesse Sorensen saying, look, I mean, just knowing the talent in the area, probably never going to be quite competitive with the Manhassets of the world, but it's more experiential, and getting a big senior day win would certainly be a heck of an experience as you see a great opening salvo for the Bulldogs pushing their way up the field. Unable to finish that time for Roslyn. After that quick push was Jack Bernstein. Another chance. And another miss, this time off the stick of Alex Gatto. Or Gatto, excuse me. So it'll be cleared by Diaversa, who has been excellent in goal for North Shore. The Vikings look to add on to the lead. It was 4-3 at the end of one. Tacked on 2 goals. Didn't allow Roslyn to score in the second. Started off with Forrest Dimitri, but then Will Feldman getting in on the action with 2 goals up to a team high 28 on the season for him. Nice anticipatory defense from the Bulldogs. As you saw Baum make a really nice play on the ball. Baum, a college defender, heading to Drexel next year. You can see why. Some vicious checking here on the sideline, getting absolutely wrecked that time. For Roslyn was Luke Weiss. But the Bulldogs giving up a goal in transition. Will Feldman again on the run. Bouncing it cross field. It's about as pretty offense as you'll see at this level. Tic-tac-toe passing, culminating in a second goal for Joe Lehane. So 7-3 Vikings as they continue to separate in this one. Roslyn bring on a late substitution, number 13 Sam Nee, running out to the far side of the field to match up with Kevin Larkin of North Shore. It's an interesting story in the face-off circle for Roslyn. You have Itan Nadam, who was not necessarily considered the face-off men of the future. Oh, and a penalty there after a little bit too much aggressiveness from number 24, Zach Harris. But circling back to Nadam, as we'll get an extra man offense opportunity for North Shore. As you saw Harris go a little bit low on the stick there. It was Jesse Sorensen saying, to really compete in the Power Conference, we're going to need a great face-off man. Recruited Jack Fine from the middle school ranks. Invested a lot of time and effort in training him up. He's going to go on to play at Syracuse next year. Ended up going the private school route, though, but Fine repaid the tutelage by training up Nadam. Nadam, though, playing injured today, has been playing injured for the last couple of games, and it's been a big part of the struggles for Roslyn, as it is for any team on this level when you lose your number one guy in the circle. I guess that's center field, really, for Lacrosse. Eli Fastman on the ball. He's been a really key piece for Roslyn as a senior. Really reliable, and Sorensen has gotten into just how crucial it is to get these seniors up to speed after they didn't have a junior season. Many of them were not on varsity as sophomores. So after the infraction, ball returned to North Shore, as they'll try to take advantage of the man up. Feldman really patient on the ball. Quigley and Larkin playing catch. Larkin from deep. And a great save by Conley, who really aggressive trying to get it back, but now out of net. And it'll stick with North Shore. See exactly what happened there following the shot. The bouncer, Conley saved it, tried to run it down, but a little laissez-faire in terms of his recovery on the ground ball. And Roslyn is fortunate that didn't turn out worse. As we saw North Shore already tacking on one goal in an open field situation. Good cut! Oh, and what a save by Conley. Quick reflexes to stop that bullet from Dimitri. So now we get to see the speed from the Roslyn defenders. Harris hunting for room. Up and at him, he goes to Mike Rice. Again, Rice has been hot. Coming off a 3-goal game against Hewlett in their last win. Roslyn hunts for room on offense. Here's Siegel. Again, extremely crafty. And such a smart player as a sophomore. Fastman harassed and turned over. Classic pressure from the North Shore defense. Transition offense, and a late check was all that stopped Lehane from putting that home. Max Smith in for Roslyn. The sophomore always provides an injection of energy when he's out there. He played a key part in one of those early goals. The great duck-in and finish. Siegel. Oh, and there's a bouncer. Calmly saved by Diaversa. Kevin Larkin. Ooh, good dodge. Larkin, another one. How about that swim move? That was gorgeous. And unable to handle it from X was Lehane, so it'll be turned back over to Roslyn halfway through the third. Vikings in possession of a 7-3 lead. And a look at the nice save there from Diaversa. Oh, wow, what a look-ahead pass. Oh, and loose ball picked up and taken on the run by, looked like D'Amico. Now going back the other way is Chapman and company. And they have numbers for a second. Gatto has a man. Oh, and unable to handle that pass for Siegel. Looked like it hit the mouth of his stick and bounced right off of it. North Shore, ooh, that's going to draw a flag. A hard check from behind. Really selling it for North Shore was Jack Kaufman. Let's take another look. So there's Kaufman, and yeah, that's going to be a penalty every time. Looked like Eli Fastman on the infraction for Roslyn. So North Shore didn't score on their last DMO. We'll see what happens here. And an offsides on North Shore, so Roslyn, chance to just hold serve here. Here's Gatto. Down 4 goals, though, they might get a little bit aggressive as they've really struggled on face-offs against this North Shore team that's had similar issues all year long, a weakness on a weakness, quote-unquote stoppable force versus a movable object, but North Shore has gotten the better of it so far. Siegel and Gatto playing a little bit of a two-man game. Gatto, Siegel, trying to beat the man with the ball, and Siegel just couldn't get all the way around on that one. Had an angle to net. But the ball popped out a little too early in his follow-through. So here we go, Alex Gatto, a guy in 2 years, maybe even next season, has a chance to be an all-county, all-American, potentially type of player. That one a worm burner from Fastman, but inaccurate. So Gatto goes to work. Needs to do a lot of it to get Roslyn back in this game. Gatto had space for a second. A good pass in front of net. But Smith couldn't corral it. Here comes North Shore charging hard the other way is Gonzalez. Extra pass, Feldman. Looking for a hat trick. He'll settle for an assist. Oh, the backhanded shot. And you, watching him play, I really understand what Jesse Sorensen was saying with Ryan Conley. He's faced a lot of shots on net, but he has made some spectacular stomps. It was hard to tell if he got a stick on this one or if it was just off target. I think that was a bad miss, but good positioning from Conley all the same. Again, for Roslyn, this senior day, obviously it's about getting a win to some extent, but really about celebrating all the kids that have poured in hours and hours of time and effort into this program. Oh, and here's Feldman with a great look right off the pole. Primetime opportunity for Will Feldman to get goal number 3. Lob pass ahead, bounces into open space. Oh, it looked like Gatto had it for a second. Siegel's going to try and run it down. Instead, he's beaten to the ball by Lacey. Charge ahead from the long stick, Vlahopoulos. I'm going to keep trying. That one out of play, so Roslyn another chance as we take a look at the replay. There's a lob to X, and then Dimitri to Feldman, a connection that's worked so well so many times. It looked like that ball dropped right in front of the cage and then topped off on the crossbar. So slowing things down now for Roslyn is Mike Rice. 50 seconds on the clock. You get the feeling this is a situation where they'd want to hold for the final possession of this third quarter, but down by 4, if they have an opportunity, they're going to jump on it. Gatto, nice spin. Oh, that would have been a heck of a move. Right off the crossbar. He's upset with himself. Knew he had an opportunity there. Look at that nice inside dodge. And you got to give a lot of credit to the man in net, Diaversa, for blocking off that upper right quadrant that Gatto wanted to go to. Roslyn back with the ball now. Gotta go quick. Gatto harassed 2-3 defenders in his grill every time he has it. Tripping up on the ball, a nice check to separate him from it will end the quarter. A fabulous defensive play by Aledo. And that's how we'll wrap up the third. 1 goal for the Vikings, none for Roslyn in that third quarter. So it's 7-3 North Shore as we head into the fourth on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports. Are you settling for a boring live stream? Can't see the players' uniforms? No audio? Camera not following the action? Consider a live stream broadcast with Varsity Media. Our announcers help tell the story of your game.
Goes McCarthy. He's got up. He's in. Touchdown, Farmingdale.
We feature multiple camera angles, guaranteed to capture all the action.
Touchdown, Oceanside!
Plus added features like graphics, instant replay.
Yeah, the shooters are going to shoot here at Bethpage, and one of many threes on the day.
Interviews, and more. It's your time to shine. And with Varsity Media, now you can. Contact us today and book a live stream broadcast with Varsity Media. Online at varsitymedia.net or by phone 516-403-2050.
And we're back on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Fourth quarter about to get underway. It's North Shore with a 7-3 lead over Roslyn. One goal in the third quarter from either team. It was Will Feldman of North Shore, his 41st point on the year, 28th goal. Feldman, a guy who's been with the program since middle school. Made a big jump athletically from the last time he played as a freshman. Just gotten faster and stronger. His head coach, Aaron Kozlowski, saying out of everyone on the team, he's probably made the biggest leap. It's a North Shore team that lost a lot of talent, but you get the sense they're really rounding into form. A team that's, again, consistently competitive with the best in Conference C, just off the fact that they have really good athletes. They're a small school, but they have all these guys who play multiple sports. You see it in someone like Dan Quigley, who was the quarterback on the all-county football team, and then literally a few days later is back being an integral part of this lacrosse team. And that cross-training really does wonders for them and usually gives them an advantage athletically over schools full of guys who mostly focus on lacrosse, though. That tendency to play multiple sports here on Long Island has increasingly become normalized, and a lot of coaches will tell you it's for the best. On the flip side of things, you talk to Jesse Sorensen as North Shore gets off to a quick start here in this fourth quarter on the break with Dimitri looking for an opening. Sorensen will tell you about Alex Gatto and say, look, I was, and he was, an All-American in high school. And Gatto's already just so much more advanced in his game than I was at the same age because he's playing so much more lacrosse. It used to be 20, 30 years ago, it was genuinely a one-season sport. Now for these guys, it's a 3 or 4-season sport, and they have so much diversity and skill level baked into their games at a really early age, and it allows someone like Gatto to, again, going up against multiple Division I level defenders on a game-to-game basis, without a lot of practice time as a true sophomore who didn't even get a freshman season to come out and, if not dominate, certainly be one of the best players on the field game in and game out at this level. It's pretty amazing. North Shore certainly has their own examples of that in their young talent. A guy like Wilt Feldman, quintessential. Speaking of the devil, Feldman with the goal. What timing. A hat trick for Will Feldman. And you certainly see the time in the gym, that explosiveness on the catch to transition straight into his shot. And it was off an absolutely beautiful pass from X that time as he was set up by Joe Lehane. It's Lehane's third point of the game, Feldman's third goal of the game, and an 8-3 lead for the Vikings over the Bulldogs of Roslyn. We mentioned it early on, but worth repeating, Nadam not at full health in the face-off circle, but he wins one there, or at least seemed like he would initially. It's been North Shore who's been quicker to those ground balls time in and time out. Gonzale, the long stick, able to run it down. And that's been the difference in this one. North Shore, a team that's been at a possession deficit all year because they've had their own issues at face-off, has certainly taken advantage of Nadam's injury today and a little bit of lethargy in the midfield from Roslyn as they haven't been quite as quick to those ground balls. And North Shore, for the most part this season, they've had to be patient on offense because their defense has spent so much time doing work game in and game out. This game has given them the freedom to just play. And now if they're patient, it's because they're nursing that big lead. Dimitri, a good couple of ball fakes. Feldman, see the diversity and just the athletic explosion. Every little movement he makes really raises the blood pressure collectively of this Roslyn defense. North Shore really taking their time. And again, Roslyn pretty young on defense, but led by two juniors in Baum and Harris. And yet they're two kids who have played a lot of lacrosse as we take a look at that near miss from Larkin. Conley, despite giving up the 8 goals, has had a really good game. And net for Roslyn, this one could be a lot worse. A dodge, Feldman looking for goal number 4. That one bounces up. Ground ball situation scooped up nicely by Dimitri. Again, Dimitri heading to Brown next year. One of the better lacrosse programs in the Ivy League. It's a theme for both teams to place kids in higher achieving academic institutions. Jesse Sorensen said it is even something that can sometimes limit his seniors a little bit because unlike a lot of, well, I shouldn't say that, but just in his own program, there was a real prioritization on academics over all else, and it pays off for a lot of these kids because they get to go to really good schools and still play on the club level, as that beamer was sent in and deflected nicely by Conley. Coaches on both sides played college lacrosse. Sorensen at Adelphi, Kozlowski at Hofstra. Sorensen also a high-level basketball player. Actually played at Lehigh, one of the best programs on the island. So good movement inside. Roslyn finally able to get it back. Nice stick work to snag that ground ball from Baum. So bouncer up the field, but that's been the real issue for Roslyn. Every time they try and get into transition, they've had issues handling the ball. Siegel has had a couple of misses in this one. And you got to think about the mental strain on this Roslyn team. They literally played a day ago at Locust Valley. And it feels like every time they have a chance to recover, there's either another game or another practice, and both Sorensen and Kozlowski have mentioned that being a real issue for their teams this season, just an inability to rest. And physically, you can imagine the toll on the guys who also played football. It's been nonstop for about 3.5 months at this point. And Larkin mishandled that ball, but a nice recovery from North Shore. Win it right back. Feldman drawing a lot of attention, trying to work his way into some free room. Roslyn calling for a stall. As North Shore looks to drain this clock nearly halfway through the fourth quarter. Now there's a shot. No stall there. Feldman wide of net. So it'll be taken by Lehane. 6 minutes for Roslyn to make up a 5-goal deficit. Certainly a better performance for the Bulldogs in their past 2 games, but a tall task here, and that's going to make it even taller. Picking up the penalty as the check scraped the face mask of Dimitri. Penalty is going to go against Benjamin Nee. Again, it will start once the ball hits the turf. Dimitri facing up at X. Stalled out nicely by Baum. They try to go in front of net. Roslyn just doing their best to stem the tide. Feldman, it looked like he'd Quigley backdoor for a second. Didn't look that way. Oh, there's a good pass, and even better dodge, and a goal! The dunk in from Lehane, a gorgeous move to swim through two defenders. That one's certainly worth a second look. As Lehane, off the pass from Feldman, who picks up his 4th point right there, the swim move between two defenders, right on net, little pump fake. And essentially a dunk right under the crossbar. 9-3 now for the Vikings over the Bulldogs. So worth looking a little bit ahead for North Shore with a win today. Again, all but securing a spot in the postseason. And they finish off with a manageable schedule. Floral Park, a solid opponent, should be a very competitive game. And then one they should certainly win against Wheatley / Carl Place in their final matchup. That one will take place, I believe, next Monday. So 4:41 on the clock. Roslyn, take a miracle for them to win. Still have a chance to make this look a little bit better cosmetically, and on their senior day, it's just about getting guys in, getting guys touches. So a timeout taken. Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Number of really exciting matchups, as you can see. Cold Spring Harbor, a big game on June 3rd. But the point is, if you're interested in Long Island High School lacrosse, either as a parent or a coach, of all the action for you here, you see it day in and day out. It's the beauty of this condensed COVID season. You're getting game after game after game and nights with multiple matchups. Really, really exciting. And we have it on the guys' side and the girls' side. Tomorrow, Cold Spring Harbor at Wantagh on the girls' side of things. That's certainly going to be an exciting matchup. That Wantagh program, always really good. A rematch of an excellent game earlier this season. So with 4:35 on the clock for Roslyn, you just want to see them get some of the vets involved. And the interesting thing about this Roslyn side is the two key players, again, are sophomores, and Alex Siegel and Alex Gatto, or sophomores rather. But you do have some key senior pieces, Jared Chapman, Eli Fastman, I believe Baum is a senior, Ryan Glennon in goal. We mentioned it a little bit in the first half, but it's worth talking about again. Glennon, a guy who was, Jesse Sorensen was saying he was really heartbroken for Ethan Gatto, the older brother of Alex, probably the best player in school history, put in so much work before his senior season and to get into the best shape of his life, really be ready. He missed his senior, but then Glennon, a guy who poured in all this time, even as a sophomore they considered starting him, ended up benching him to play behind a senior, was supposed to be a 2-year guy. They felt really bad for him, was a club player who's really good, certainly deserving of the opportunity. And then comes in this abbreviated senior year, and you're seeing it throughout the island, Nassau, Suffolk, what have you, these seniors who put in all this time and work, and then in a blink of an eye, they're 2/3 of the way through their senior season, and they're just sort of getting their legs under them, because a lot of players, especially the seniors who weren't up on varsity as a sophomore, who don't get to play club, it's a real learning curve to play on this level. Oh, and what a dodge there. Absolutely dropping a defender was Gatto. He's going to try to go for goal. And it was a little ambitious to take the shot, but you see the future of this program is in good hands. Little spin dodge by Gatto, absolutely dropping the Viking in his way. Oh, and now his great stick check to get the ball back. Gatto coming alive late in this one. Had that initial goal, has mostly been quiet. The North Shore defense throwing numbers in his face, doing a good job containing him. As that shot zipped by the right pole from Maxwell Smith. Again, another sophomore on this team who Jesse Sorensen's really excited about. So Roslyn not going to finish with a great record this year. Not going to make the playoffs this year. But a lot to look forward to in the future of the program, as an infraction will give them an EMO near the end of this one. Gatto hunting for space, swinging it back to Siegel. Siegel looking in front of net. Not great spacing on offense right now from Roslyn, as they were a little condensed there. Coach Sorensen saying this is probably the best they're going to be all year, this particular game. Just because they're peaking in terms of health and fully understanding the offense, but with younger guys in an abbreviated season without a lot of time to work, it's hard to do, but talents like Alex Gatto certainly make it easier, as that one just snuck in the 5-hole. As we'll take another look to see how he beat Diaversa. Good pass and a high-to-low shot. Picture-perfect placement, and I think that's what Sorensen's talking about when he says Gatto's so developed relative to where he was at the same age 20 or so years ago. Just the number of reps he's getting, playing 4 seasons. You'd have rarely seen a sophomore in the early 2000s, mid-90s with that type of ball placement on their shot. But it's no accident from Gatto. He puts in that kind of work, and it translates really well. It's 9-4 and a face-off win for Roslyn from Nadam. But maintaining possession has been a long-time issue in this one. Escaping from the pack, though, is Nadam. Nadam suffering an ankle injury a couple of games back. Giving all he can. But just doesn't have his usual explosiveness. Still able to win the ball initially, but having a lot of issues recovering. And it tells you where this Roslyn team is in terms of the depth on their faceoff spot, that he still needs to play. So with 2:48 left, a 9-4 lead for the Vikings over the Bulldogs. We'll take one final break on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports. Are you settling for a boring live stream? Can't see the players' uniforms? No audio? Camera not following the action? Consider a live stream broadcast with Varsity Media. Our announcers help tell the story of your game.
Goes McCarthy. He's got up. He's in. Touchdown, Farmingdale.
We feature multiple camera angles, guaranteed to capture all the action.
Touchdown, Oceanside!
Plus added features like graphics, instant replay.
Yeah, the shooters are going to shoot here at Bethpage, and one of many threes on the day.
Interviews and more. It's your time to shine. And with Varsity Media, now you can. Contact us today and book a live stream broadcast with Varsity Media. Online at varsitymedia.net or by phone 516-403-2050.
Back one final time on the Varsity Media Sports Network. 2:48 to go here from Roslyn High School. It's North Shore looking to secure a playoff berth to move to 6-4 on the season. Talked about in the open, but it was a tough 2-game stretch to start, falling to Bethpage 12-7 in a game that head coach Aaron Kozlowski said, we just weren't necessarily ready for. They were able to do school-wide conditioning throughout the year, but only got an actual lacrosse practice about 2 weeks before the season, and even then we're missing a pretty significant contingent of their team because the football squad went on to the county championship, and like all these schools, there's quite a bit of overlap. So they get into the season totally unprepared for a really good Bethpage team who consistently have really good games against, as you see a transition opportunity there, and the finish, the cherry on top for Joe Lehane, who's had a breakout performance in this one. The senior with 5 points. You look at it here, ahead of the pack. Conley looking for answers, not going to get many. As a flag hits the turf. And it'll benefit North Shore. Not that it will affect the final outcome at this point, but this North Shore team really rounding into form at just the right point. They followed that Bethpage game with a blowout loss to Manhasset, who both coaches took the time to mention is above even their typical Sterling standard of play this season and potentially all-time team. But following that one, they ripped off 4 straight wins, beating Wantagh 12-6, Lynbrook 8-4, Locust Valley is consistently good 14-8, Herricks 15-6. They've lost 2 of their last 3 to Seaford and Cold Spring Harbor, but competitive games against 2 schools that are consistently the class of Conference C. And they beat Hewlett in the middle of that 12-5. They're going to pick up the win today. And a really good sign for Coach Kozlowski, who's saying the biggest issue for them of late has been penalties. Not really a significant issue in this game. They've had 1 or 2. But it certainly hasn't stopped them from being effective offensively. And it just feels like those guys who are really just now getting into the rhythms of varsity lacrosse for the first time, the juniors and seniors up for the first time in their careers for North Shore, are finally rounding into form, and you're getting a complete team. As Dimitri was unable to handle that one. And on the Roslyn side, this season all about development. That's why you're seeing, on top of the fact that they're great talent, so much of guys like Maxwell Smith. Oh, what an individual effort here from Feldman, who will fake and put it home. And this final score will be somewhat deceptive. This was definitely a game for a half, but North Shore really locked in on defense, only allowing 1 goal since the first quarter. And have picked up those transition points that are oftentimes a bellwether for how they're doing offensively. They really look to push in unsettled situations. And this was a rare game again. They're usually kind of cautious in accelerating their offense, given that they've really struggled to win faceoffs and their defense has had to spend so much time on the field. But given how they've controlled that aspect of the game in terms of faceoffs this time, they've been able to go fast. They've been able to ride and win possessions in unsettled spots and then take full advantage of it. As Feldman will hold Feldman. The guy is still uncommitted, but like Dimitri before him, has a whole lot of Division I interest, and it's interesting the trajectory in this North Shore program of becoming the best player. Dimitri, a guy a year ago, again, he's been starting at the varsity level since 8th grade. He was probably the second best player on the team as a sophomore behind Stephen Graber, and was mostly a finisher, but he comes back 2 seasons later after the year off as overall creator and someone who dictates every single aspect of this offense with his passing and his movement and his overall guidance. And you see Feldman as someone who next season could be that guy. But for now, no need to think of next season. It's all about this one for the North Shore Vikings. They're headed to the playoffs. For Roslyn, certainly a strong effort on their senior day and a look at the future of the program with 3 different sophomores notching points in this one between Smith, Siegel, and of course Gatto. So North Shore will move on to 6-4 on the season. Roslyn falls to 1-8, and we'll get a look at the upcoming schedule one final time on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Again, tomorrow you have that Cold Spring Harbor versus Wantagh game. That's an exciting matchup, on June 8th. You get that or that one's on June 3rd. You get another big one on June 8th. I'm going to be broadcasting it right here. It's Roslyn against North Shore on the girls' side of things. Certainly going to be an interesting one. That's next Tuesday. You can check it out right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Signing off from Roslyn High School, I'm Gavin Shaw. Again, an 11-4 victory for North Shore.